Okay. Hello, hello. Strange new world. Find. Gonna double check that I am in fact live. I'm pretty sure I'm live. There's my notification. Oh, I got an email. YouTube. Now live on your channel. It's me. It me, dog. I'm Gabriel. This is Watcher DM. If you're here, I'm glad you're here. I hope you're glad I'm here. Just gonna view my channel real quick to make sure I can get at my chat. YouTube. If you want to chat at me, I will be available in the chat. Otherwise, this episode, this show, this little, call it a mini series, micro series, is about prepping the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition adventure A2, Secret of the Slavers Stockade, for running using OSE. I am trying to run this for my gaming group, my bi-weekly. We were the Black Marsh Rangers was the name of the group from the last campaign. After our 5e campaign, we decided to take a little hiatus and try something a little nostalgic. And my friend Rhiannon decided she has all of the books for the A series and wanted to play them and run them. And so she ran the first series, A1. We recently completed that, and I've got about a little more than a week before I need to run the first session of A2. And I have no idea how long this is going to take to run, but I'm suspecting it will take like 4 to 6 sessions, maybe longer. I think we did a pretty good job getting through A1 in no small part because I'm kind of an OSR nerd and was just like really kind of Johnny on the spot with some stuff, and so was Austin. Like we had some good decision making along the way. But yeah, so we are, just to kind of catch you up on where we are, we have finished the Hill Fort section, and what I'm using here is Notion. I've got my random encounter table here. Each of the rooms is broken up into a bullet list or a toggle list, if it makes sense to expand it into a toggle list, with appropriate maps where available. And the last one we finished was Icar's Quarters, which is huge, so big. But it does have a lot of really cool information on it. So we're going to dive right in to the dungeon level. Now, the dungeon level, much like the Hill Fort level, has a section at the beginning that describes some stuff that's going on. So, for instance, it talks about how the tournament start for this dungeon. So I'm just going to read this out loud, try and internalize the concepts here, and see if any of it's useful for play. Can I just select the stream? I don't know what this means. Okay, I'm just watching this stuff. Great. Dungeon level. Tournament start for the dungeon. Through the map and the information gained in Highport, the party has learned the location of the Slavers' stronghold. The Slavers once used a stockaded fort as their headquarters. The hill fort was destroyed by the wild tribesmen of the Drakenskrab Hills, but the Slavers returned to the site and began operating again out of the underground complex, now concealed by the rubble above. After an arduous journey overland, in which the party discovered that the Drakenskrab tribesmen are still active, the party has reached the ruins of the hill fort. Waiting until nightfall, they cautiously entered the demolished fort, barely avoiding patrols of bored and apathetic guards. The party found a newly built trap door amid the rubble. The entrance is unguarded, as the slavers believe that no one would dare attack them. The party is determined to correct that mistaken impression if they lift the trapdoor, as they lift the trapdoor and descend into the darkness. What's interesting about this is I think, let's see here, Hill Fort strategy. Interesting. The Hill Fort and dungeon areas were designed to be used as separate tournament sessions, each with 9 players and each lasting 3.5 to 4 hours. Okay. The timing begins when the character sheets are distributed, and players should be periodically reminded of the time left. Interesting. Player objective is quite simple. Go as far as possible in the time available, whether playing above or below ground. The more rooms the players get through, the more points they will score. So we're actually playing both of these, and we're just playing them in order. And I think that's because we're not running this as a tournament, we're running this as a campaign. So that's fine. I just wanted to understand the context here. It's really interesting that they set it up to be like, oh yeah, this one's above ground and this one's below ground, and they're both run, but the below ground one assumes that the above ground one doesn't exist, kind of. It's like, oh, it's a ruin. There's a fresh new secret door, whatever. It hand waves it, which is great. All right. Dungeon wandering monsters. These encounters will only occur in corridors or empty or emptied rooms. Wandering monsters are not used in tournament play. They may be included in the campaign adventure at the discretion of the DM. These monsters are encountered on a roll of 1 on a d6 check each turn. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and add. I think what I did was I added I added it under. So we'll go ahead and create a new table. We'll drag this guy up here. And I think it's a 1d6 and encounter. Giant rat. Oh, a 1 is 6d. No, it's 4d6 giant rats. 2 baby boggle. 1 baby boggle. I need to add boggles to the. I'm going to need to make a whole bestiary just for this adventure, so I've got all this stuff in and easy to reference. 3 will be a goblin patrol with. Now it says 6 to 15, which I think will be 1d10 plus 5. Sounds right. This can also come crushing over here a little. 4 witch doctor and patrol. This is also 1d10 plus 3 witch doctor plus patrol. 5 1d3 wolves, and 6 1 haunt. Love me a haunt, man. They do some pretty cool stuff. Haunts. I remember there's a haunt in the Dungeons Beneath Castle Blackmore supplement. It was really interesting. All right. So we read those rats. These creatures will surprise on a roll of 1 to 4 in 1d6. They are encountered by only 1 or 2 characters. If they are encountered by only 1 or 2 characters, they will attack. If the party is larger than when encountered, the rats will sit and watch the intruders intently, allowing the party to pass unmolested. So they will not pick a fight. Boggle. This strange creature is described in the back of this module. The Boggle child has wandered away from the lair and has climbed the wall and is hiding in the shadows, ready to spring down on unwary passerbys. It will surprise on a roll. So surprise on 5 and 6, leaping down on a random character, stunning for 1 round. The creature will then grab the character's weapon and run down the hall, giggling, stopping and waving the weapon at the party, encouraging them to chase. It will lead the party on a merry chase down the hall, up the wall, and over their heads. Characters may attempt to catch it rolling to hit AC 9, but once the boggle is grabbed, it will slip out of their hands like a greased pig. If the creature takes half damage, it won't think the chase is fun anymore and will throw the weapon at the party and dimension door through a nearby rat hole. Woof. Dimension door, okay. Goblin Patrol. This patrol is returning to their barrack and is tired. Their leader is a gruff, one-eyed hobgoblin, and they are all armed with throwing spears and short swords. Once the party is sighted, the leader will send a goblin to sound the alarm and then attempt to hold the party till reinforcements arrive. They will throw their spears first. And then we've got Witch Doctor Gouliette. A goblin witch doctor is accompanied by 3 to 12 goblin guards carrying spears. Yeah, that's fine. So I think this should really be... All right, 3 through 12. So goblins. I think that's right. 1 witch doctor. All right. They are taking a message to Icar from Marquesa, requesting 6 mind-numbed slaves and the presence of Estelrath the Slaver. Gouliette is Marquesa's assistant and apprentice. She carries a large whistle that can be blown from both ends. One end sounds the alarm, and the other makes no sound, but summons a large white wolf, a winter wolf, which arrives in 2 rounds. She wears a bronze amulet worth 30 gold pieces. Gouliette's statistics, and magic items are given in the leaders section. So I think I could be wrong here, but I think I might already have Gouliette. Boom. Gouliette, that's the witch doctor. Done. That pregame though, it's like I know what I'm doing. Hey guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. I'm just working on A2 here, so sign off in the chat if you catch me making any mistakes, because I'm gonna make a mistake. It's gonna be great. Wolves. The wolves used to guard the dungeon are sometimes allowed to roam free. They will snarl and attack if they are surprised or attacked. If not surprised, they will act curious but irritable and hungry. Okay, that tracks. Man, speaking of wolves, have you guys seen Wolfwalker? Is that what it's called? Wolfwalkers? It's this animated film from the ones who did the Book of Kells, I think. And like the other, it was like a silky. Anyway, really, really cool Irish animation. Beautiful stuff. Very, very fun film. Just watched it last night with my partner. Worth the watch. I think it might be free on Amazon Prime Video, maybe? I don't know. Check it out. Haunt. This monster is described in the back of this module. Great. This haunt is the spirit of a slave who was killed in this area while trying to escape. The haunt's mission is to escape from the hill fort. Any character possessed by the haunt will try to take the shortest way out of the dungeon unless the haunt is convinced by the party that safety and the best chance of escape lies in numbers. Interesting. All right, here we go. Secret guard room. Let's fire this missile. Oh, right. The first thing I need to do is convert all of these into toggle lists. Because so far, the thing I have found is that being able to traverse this document as a nested list is way better than having to do all the scrolling involved, especially since I often need to go back to the top. All right, looks like 24, 23, turn into toggle list, all the 25s. I think this is most of the treasure stuff here is in the specialist's quarters. List. Right, and then Caveling Temple, I made it its own page because it was actually crazy how much stuff is in there. In fact, man, that whole Caveling Temple is going to be... Yeah, 28's kind of a nightmare. This is the slave pens. This is like the big... I forgot about this. Oh, it's not that much. It's not that much. I could do this in the outer part. I think I just got scared. I got scared. That scared me off. Can you blame me? Let's turn this. Let's see if this works. If I turn this into a toggle list, look at that. Takes the contents of the page and turns it into a toggle. Show off. Amazing. Amazing. I love it. I will take it. All right, let's get this back up here. Cool, so I can collapse these. I think I can collapse these slave pens. Need to turn this into a toggle list. And all of these do toggle lists. And all of these. Cool. Okay, we're back. We're back at the top. Secret guard room. Sitting at a long table in the middle of the room, apparently eating dinner, are several goblins. They appear to be surprised. Do they appear to be surprised? Are they just surprised? The southwest corner of the room has been barred off to form a cell and holds a man covered with bruises. These 12 goblins are not really surprised. At a sign from their hobgoblin leader, hiding in the observation alcove to the side of the door, they will pick up concealed crossbows and fire at the party. Then they will pick up wooden clubs and attack. The hobgoblin leader will attack with surprise 1 round after the goblin's charge with his morning star. This room is a secret guard post to observe the trap at the end of the corridor and to relieve anyone coming into the dungeon of their metal, weapons, and armor. Constant watch is maintained on the hall from the spy alcove, and this is how the goblins were warned about the party before they entered the room. Normally, the goblins allow intruders to be caught by the lodestones and then burst forth from the secret room and club them unconscious with wooden clubs. They then remove the gear, bind and gag apparent spellcasters, and lock them in the cell until their superiors can be summoned. If the party manages to get past the trap, the goblins will send a runner upstairs to sound the alarm. Tracks. The spy alcove has a tall stool with a padded seat and a spy hole cut in the wall to provide a view of the end of the corridor. The only treasure in this room are a couple of kitchen knives and what the goblins and their leader carry. The goblins each have 2d6 silver pieces concealed somewhere on their persons, and the hobgoblin leader has a pouch with a large brass key to the door in number 7. 20 gold pieces and a cracked piece of ivory worth 75 gold pieces in a cloth sack stuffed under his armor. The man in the cell has been severely beaten by the goblins, has completely lost his senses. All he thinks about is food and makes only unintelligible grunts. The first thing he will do once released is charge past the party and start wolfing down food off the table. Cool. Respect that. My brother's hungry. Feed the man. Stay hydrated, kids. Let's all remember to stay hydrated. We are beings of water at the very least. All right. So, long table in middle of room. Southwest corner. Makeshift cell. And then there's also what is this called? Observation alcove. Observation alcove. Now, I kind of want to understand. That's the cell. says there's a secret door. Oh, this must be the observation alcove. I see. I see. Okay, so that is the south. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Didn't it say southwest corner? Pretty sure it did. Southwest corner, makeshift cell. That ain't southwest. Unless. Is it the north? Maybe this is the observation alcove. This looks like an observation alcove, though. It says it's looking down the hall. Yeah, that can't be right. Entry hall. Yeah, looking down the entry hall. A. Secret door. The secret door has recently been constructed by Marquesas engineers. Is not the best match. Elves searching for secret doors will automatically find it. In order to draw attention away from the spot, an oil lamp has been lit and hung at the far end of the corridor on the west wall. The far end of the corridor. West wall. I don't understand what that means. I feel like this is confused. Like this actually doesn't know which way is up. And importantly, I don't think I actually know which way is up with this. Only treasure. Spy alcove has a tall stool with a padded seat and a spy hole. Your guard post. This room is a secret guard post to observe the trap at the end of the corridor and to relieve anyone coming into the dungeon. Okay. Yeah. Spy alcove. And this is how the goblins were warned about the party before they entered the room. Normally, they burst forth from the secret room and club them unconscious. Oh, wait a minute. There's no door to this room. How do you... Okay. There's no door to this room. It's entirely secret. This has got to be the observation. The observation thing, right? There's no way. Hiding in the observation alcove to the side of the door. To the side of the door. This, right here. Southwest. Southwest corner of the room has been barred off to form a cell and holds a man covered with bruises. I'm changing this. It's going to say northeast because there's no way that that's southwest. It's just wrong. So northeast corner, makeshift cell, holds a guy. Observation alcove in southwest. Okay, cool. Around the long table, we've got 12 goblins. Goblin. Who act surprised, but are actually packing heat. Also, they carry 2d6 silver pieces each. Northeast corner, makeshift cell. Man in the cell has been severely beaten. I'm just gonna say crazed slave. Super hungry. Should be fine. I don't think we have to go into more detail than that. An observation alcove in southwest. At Hobgoblin. Leader. Waits for goblins to get attention and attacks with surprise. Yeah, I think that's all fine. He also carries, I think, 20 gold pieces and a brass key to 7. Seems legit. And then, honestly, this has this as like, oh, a secret door. Like, no. Secret door is poorly matched. Elves automatically find it. Fine. Okay, cool. Secret guard room. Done. Entry hall. The corridor at the foot of the stairs is cloaked with a mantle of dust and cobwebs. Corridor at the foot of the stairs is cloaked with a mantle. Okay. And the air is cool and earthy. The hall slopes down to the north here, and the walls are damp. At the end of this 90-foot corridor, the hall turns to the west, and a lit oil lamp hangs on the west wall, throwing feeble amber light. The hall is 10 feet wide. At the end of the hall, hidden in the hollow wall, is a powerful lodestone or magnet. The range of its magnetic pull is 15 feet. That's like an industrial magnet. That's like a, crush a dude in his armor magnet. But okay, fine. Fantasy magnets. Okay. So the party will not have any warning of its existence until they are within range of it. Those wearing ferrous armor, scale mail, or better, including most magical armor, will be drawn suddenly and forcefully against the wall, taking a d6 points of damage from the fall. Those drawn to the wall will be stuck, unable to move unless they are released from their armor and escape, leaving their armor hanging against the wall. Also, those within range of the wall will find any ferrous objects held in hand, jerked away, and flung against the wall to hang there. Sheathed or tied down armor objects will swivel on their hinges and point towards the wall. If the equivalent of 2 or more long swords worth of iron-based metal is carried by a character, he will also be drawn to the wall. The second rank of the party will be able to react to the first rank being caught in the trap, and if they save versus petrification at +4, they will avoid being caught in the trap also. If the characters leave behind all their large ferrous objects, they may cross the lodestone area of effect without being affected. Characters with a strength of 15 or greater and wearing banded mail or less may slide sideways along the wall at the rate of 5 feet per round until out of range of the trap. Others must remain stuck. 2 characters will be able to carry metal items equal to 200 gold pieces weight around the area of effect, if their combined strength equals 25 or greater. 3 characters will have no difficulty moving items weighing up to 350 gold pieces, such as banded mail, around the corner. Any item that actually becomes stuck to the magnet will require a combined strength of 36 or more to remove the item by sliding it along the wall. You've got a complicated nonsense in the middle of your adventure, my man. What a shit show. Okay, let's look at this map here and see if we can suss out what the F we're talking about. So this is the 15 feet. This must be the 15 feet. Hidden in the hollow wall. It's a powerful lodestone magnet. How are you supposed to carry it around? I don't understand how you're supposed to carry stuff around. That's fine. Okay. Dust and cobwebs. I'm not even going to say that. Air is cool and earthy. Fine. Dust. Cobwebs. Cool. Earthy. Slopes down to the north. Damp walls. West corridor. The hall turns to the west, and a lit oil lamp hangs on the west wall, throwing a feeble Amber light. The hall is 10 feet wide. I guess, north wall. Lit oil lamp. I guess it's like northmost west wall. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. 15 feet from northmost wall. Magnet trap. $1d6 damage and stuck. Requires, I think we're just going to say requires 15 plus strength to remove small items. 2 or 3 people to remove large items. It's fine. I'm not going to explain all this other stuff. That's not useful to me. I'm just going to have to figure this out and adjudicate this at the table anyway. So there's no way. There's no stinking way. Why would anybody... Tell me if you've ever run a trap like this as written. Sound off in the comments, because holy smokes. What a nightmare. I don't even like the idea of a magnet trap, if I'm being honest. Like, oh, cool, you're stuck here. Ditch your armor. I do like the idea of them figuring out a way around it. Get that 10-foot pole. Use some leverage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's forces out there that can compete with magnetism, for sure. Yeah, combined strength. I guess 2 or 3 people to remove large items. Combined strength 36. Yes. All right. Let's just call that entry hall done. Abandoned guard room. The door opens to a short hallway. The air is cool and damp, and the area seems totally deserted. A wooden table stands in the center of the room. 3 benches, 2 wooden stools, and a couple of cots also adorn the room. Beneath one of the cots is a 3 by 2 by 1.5 foot tall brass-bound chest. Like, why 3 by 2 by 1.5 foot? Let's see if we learn. But I have a feeling that that's unuseful. It is locked and the lock is jammed by a piece of wire which might be mistaken for a broken needle or a trigger wire by a party casually examining it. A clinking sound can be heard if the chest is moved. There are 3 5-foot lengths of chain and 2 old padlocks in the chest. On the table are the remains of a dinner of horse meat and watered beer. In one mug, filled to the brim, are 2 gold pieces. We got some coin in the bottom of a drink. Okay. In the southeast corner of the room is a stool with a pair of leather boots nearby. The boots are unremarkable, except that the soles are worn through and they are particularly small. If examined closely, the wall behind the stool appears to be of a different stone than the rest of the dungeon. It is actually painted canvas stretched across a wooden frame. To those using infravision in the dark, the concealed door appears to be just a door. Interesting. A careful examination of the wall will quickly reveal how to open the concealed door. Behind the door is a winch used to lower a stone block between the lodestone and the wall to release those stuck in the trap. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is doing some trap release crap. That's pretty cool. That's better than... Honestly, that's kind of slightly impressive. I'm a little impressed. These 70s nerds kind of knew a thing. 80s nerds, I guess. Alright. Door opens to a short hallway. Let me just look at this real quick, though. This map. So 3 is here. Okay. Yeah, that tracks. I don't think I need to describe the shape of that room. I can look at the map to describe it. Air is cool and damp. I already know that. wooden table, 3 benches, 2 wood stools, 2 cots, under cot, brass bound chest, and inside of that, oh, I guess this is locked, jammed. Clinking sack, we heard just 3 5-foot chains, 2 old padlocks. Okay. On table, remains of a dinner of horse meat and watered beer. Horse meat, watered beer. In mug, 2 GP. Fine. Southeast corner, concealed door, winch to release magnet trap into. Cool. All right. I think we got 3 pretty locked in now. My God, we're a half an hour in. All right, we've got 30 minutes left, and I need to get 7 more rooms done. Whew. All right, let's knock this out. Ahead in the corridor is a ghostly white shape hovering above the floor just beyond an archway. No noise comes from it, and it seems to shift slowly. The corridor is dusty and looks seldom traveled. Cobwebs drape the ceilings in little feathery patches. The figure is the webbed form of a dead adventurer, hung as a lure by 2 giant spiders. The spiders are on the ceiling, concealed as piles of cobwebs above the arches. They will surprise the party on a roll of 4 and 6. Oh no. On a roll of 4 to 6 on a d6? That doesn't make any sense. Why not just say 1 and 2? Or 1 and 3? I guess 3 and 6. Doesn't really matter. The spiders will cut a web free to fall in a 10-foot by 10-foot area. Upon the largest group near the lure, surprised party members are caught. Others must save versus paralyzation to avoid the trap. Those caught will free themselves in a number of rounds equal to 19 minus the strength of the character. Interesting. Fire or a burning hand spell will destroy the web, but will do damage to those inside the web. Oil or a torch will cause 2 d4 points of damage. Once the party is webbed, the spiders will attack, carefully keeping their targets between other party members and themselves. Thus, the spiders cannot be shot by missiles and must be engaged in melee. Interesting. All attacks from those trapped by the web are at -4 to hit. Attacks upon those trapped are at +2 to hit. The corpse in the web bundle is a shriveled husk with a strange grimace upon its face and its hand at its chin. Between its stiff jaws is a ring of infravision. In a pouch at its waist are 10 platinum pieces. Okay, cool. This is actually, I like this. I think this is probably one of the better rooms I've read so far from this, so we'll take it. Head in the corridor. There's a ghostly white shape hovering above the floor. Let's look at the map, make sure I understand the space. This here, there's 4. What's this B here? BCCA. What are those? What are those? Secret abandoned storeroom? Is that? All right, maybe I'm just going to have to read. I'm just going to have to get that far. Nothing I can do about it. Okay. Head in the corridors, a ghostly white shape hovering above. So, ghostly white shape hovers in corridor. Actually webbed dead adventurer. Cobwebs on ceiling. Disguises to giant spiders. Yeah, I think corridors dust, looks solid, blah, blah, blah. That all seems fine. Two giant spiders are on the ceiling, conceal the spider cobwebs. Surprise on 4 to 6. Okay. Spiders will drop a 10-foot square web on party. I'm not going to worry about the surprise and all that. Of that, I'll just do that like normal webs work. Once the party is webbed, the spiders will attack, carefully keeping their targets. I'm not going to worry about any of that. The corpse in the web bundles a shriveled husk, so we don't worry about all that. And we just put some stuff in our corpse here. Ring of infravision in mouth. Pouch at waist. 10 planet pieces. All right, parlor's done. Storeroom. Now, let me double check here. Okay, so we are 40 minutes in. We're getting halfway. The room is filled with chests, bundles, and crates of various trade goods. It appears to be deserted. This room is used as a storeroom for caravan trade goods and contains several bales of good linen, crates of tin pots and pans, and several chests of china dishes wrapped in straw. The trade goods are worth a total of 450 gold pieces, but are very bulky and hard to carry. As characters examine the contents of the room, they will hear a faint, repeated hiss come from somewhere in the room. If they attempt to find the source of the hissing, they will find that it moves. The hissing comes from a pair of 2-inch long roaches which live in the room. The roaches offer no danger. Okay, cool. Fine. So 450 GP worth. I guess I'll just say trade goods. 450 GP. Bulky. And then examine contents, either paid it, blah blah blah. Hissing roaches, hiding and moving. That should be fine. I don't need any more than that for that room. All right, abandoned storeroom. This room appears to be a storeroom. The piles of trade goods are dust covered and appear not to have been touched for some time. Suddenly there is a hair-raising moan and the clanking of chains from the northeast corner of the room. There a luminescent shape begins to form the figure of a wasted elf struggling with ghostly chains that hold him to the wall. As the party watches, the figure breaks its chains and comes rushing forward. The figure is actually a phantom, a three-dimensional image, a three-dimensional image which appears similar to a ghost or a haunt. Any creature who looks at a phantom must save versus spell at -2 or flee in terror as if a fear spell. A phantom is merely an image or mirage and cannot attack nor react to other creatures. Phantoms are soulless shells of creatures who died hideous deaths and recreate images of the death trial or images of what the departed soul was thinking most about when it died. The image does not move from the spot where the creature died, but replays the story like a three-dimensional movie. This is the phantom of an elf slave who is being tortured in the torture chamber and burst his bonds to escape. After the figure breaks its chains, it seems to rush forward panting, its eyes gleaming madly, its hands twisted into claws. It will turn and appear to flee upstairs, looking back wildly over its shoulder. The elf then appears to run down a corridor and around a corner to a hallway with many doors. He scrabbles at the latch to one door until it opens, terror written all over his face. Into a room he runs, but it appears to have no other exits. Looking over his shoulder in stark horror, he beats the wall and attempts to tear a torch holder off the wall. As he does, a section of the wall opens, and he leaps through the gap desperately. Behind him, bound, dark, hairy, slavering forms running on four legs. Down a darkened passage the elf stumbles, only the pale yellow of his eyes visible. Suddenly there is light at the wall. At the end of the passage opens into a hall, and he bursts forth, beating off the baying pack of wolves that try to drag him down. Through an arch he runs, and there on his left is another door. He pushes the door open, but too late, as a great white wolf leaps upon his back and bears him down into the storeroom, ripping his throat. Then the mangled form of the unfortunate slave is dragged off into a corner to be devoured by the slavering wolves. If the players watch the entire sequence through, they may figure out where the secret door is located. If they leave the room, the sequence will not begin again for an hour. Okay, what the fuck are we talking about, man? Oh, hey. Hey, Quality. Yeah, this is a D&D prep stream. I'm glad that the algorithm found us both in this magical moment. And yeah, I am trying to prep for an OSE run of A2 Secret of the Slavers Stockades. What a nightmare. This thing is crazy. So I'm trying to get it punched down into something kind of usable. And so that's been the monumental task that I have taken on. We just finished A1. My friend Rhiannon ran it for I think it was like 2 months. Maybe 3 weeks. We had a couple outages, but it took us like 4 sessions to clear A1, and I get to GM the next section. So I'm stoked, but also I feel like with this old stuff, you know, if you do the work ahead of time, it's way easier at the table. Because, man, if I had to run this at the table as it's written, I would just be lost. It's so much weird stuff. And actually, you know, maybe you know how this works. Yeah, old school. Yeah, the OSE stuff, man. I don't know. Do you play OSE? I'm going to ask you a question, and I hope you respond in chat. It'd be super cool if you did. But this whole section here that I was reading about the phantom of the elf slave who like escapes and does all this stuff. Right, so this is an image, but it's talking about they run down a corridor, around a corner, to a hallway with many doors. So like we're in 6, right? We're in 6, which is here. So they run down a hallway to a corridor with many doors. So it's this right here, I assume. Let's see if I can figure this out. I guess my thinking is, like, it says if they leave the room, this phantom doesn't happen again for a while. And my question is, like, how is the phantom showing, like, moving through the corridor and all this other stuff if they're not following it out of the room? Right? Like, does the phantom, like, does that make sense? I feel like I'm just confused. I get what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to kind of telegraph the existence of the secret door in 10. I'm pretty sure. Let's read it again carefully and try and follow it. So, hands turn into claws. It will turn and appear to flee upstairs, looking back wildly over its shoulder. I don't really see any stairs here. Maybe it's down lower and it's trying to flee. Oh, maybe it's trying to flee up these stairs. Okay. Yeah. Tortured in the torture chamber. Yeah, torture chamber. Is that 12? Let's see here. Yes, 12. Torture chamber. Okay, okay. My brain is, things are happening. I can be learned. So they flee up these stairs, run down a corridor, around a corner to a hallway with many doors. Scrabbles at the latch to one door until it opens, terror written all over his face. Into a room he runs, but it appears to have no other exits. Looking over his shoulder in stark horror, he beats the wall and attempts to tear a torch holder off the wall. As he does, a section of the wall opens, and he leaps through the gap desperately. Behind him, dark, hairy, slavering forms running on 4 legs. I think it's more of a description for you as the DM, not necessarily a verbatim reading of what you'd tell them. Yeah, no, I get that, but like, it is saying that the Phantom, if they watch the Phantom, that it does all these interactions. And I guess what's confusing to me is like, is it like a Phantom like in pantomime? Like it just doesn't actually move. It moves in place like it's doing all those things. And if that's the case, that seems really confusing. I'll be honest, I'm not going to include this in my prep because it's just kind of too much. But I think what I'll probably do, yeah, we'll just write it up real quick. We'll just do the thing. So this room appears to be a storeroom. Fine. The piles of trade goods are dust covered and appear not have been touched for some time. So we've got some more trade goods here. Fine. Suddenly there's a hair-raising moan, a clanking of chains, and here I'm just going to say that there's a phantasm of elf slave. Breaks through the stuff. I think this is just save these spells or flee in terror. So most of the time they'll probably flee. I don't need to know the rest of that. The image does not move from the spot where the creature died, but replays the story like a 3-dimensional movie. Okay. If watched, the Phantom gives clues to the secret door in 10. I think that's most of this. I'm not going to go into deeper detail than that. Also, it doesn't tell me how much the trade goods in here are worth, so whatever. And then there's a secret door. This secret door is opened by pressing on a stone in the west wall at waist height. So we'll pop this in here. West wall at waist height. The door is opened and closed from the inside by a lever on the west wall. Okay. Pressing a stone on the west wall opens from outside. Fine. Also, I think what's interesting is that like they're more likely to find the secret door here, right? Because they're in 6 here. So if they walk out and they go checking here, they're more likely to find this secret door, which is going to take them to this 10, which is the secret door on the backside. So that's kind of cool. I'm also super curious what 8 is because I feel like that's going to be some juice. Like, obviously, there's some granny grading going on there. All right. Log trap. There's going to be another doozy. This corridor slopes gradually upwards to the east for 50 feet and then ends in a wooden wall with a door set in the middle of it. In the center of this corridor is a covered pit 10 feet long, 7.5 feet wide, and 20 feet deep, indistinguishable from the corridor floor. The tracks on the floor and over the pit show only that the area is often traveled, for there is no dust on the floor over the pit. The cover of the pit will fall open when the first person walks on it, dropping the character 20 feet into a 4-foot deep pool of water. This will cushion the fall, and the character will only take 1d6 points of damage. Heavy tapping on the floor with a staff or club will also cause the pit cover to fall open. Once open, the cover will remain open. The narrow ledges around the edges of the pit are just wide enough to walk across, but only if one goes slowly and carefully. The door has a wooden face of a leering goblin carved into it at a chest height. The door is trapped, but no trap may be detected because the trigger is on the other side of the door. Interesting. A long chain stretches from the back of the door to a board restraining a boarded up alcove at the end of the corridor. The wooden goblin face may be rotated to reveal a large keyhole. With the right key, this lock may be turned, disconnecting the chain from the door. Otherwise, once the door is pulled open, the boards over the alcove will collapse, releasing a large pile of logs, each 9 feet long, to roll down the corridor. When this happens, read the following to the players. Through the door comes the sound of cracking and splintering wood, and you see the enormous pile of logs crashing down the corridor straight towards you. Give the party 1 minute of real time to say exactly what each character is going to do. The logs will smash through the false wooden wall and continue rolling to crash into the end of the corridor. Characters may not run across the ledges to either side of the pit to escape. If they attempt to, they will fall into the pit. If they take their time to maintain their balance, they will be caught and smashed by the logs for 18 points of damage, just as they reach the other side of the pit. Those who chose to jump into the pit will take only 1d4 points of damage, and the logs will roll right across the pit. Characters who climb walls may also avoid the logs if they save versus spells. Otherwise, they will take half damage from the logs, 9 points. If the trap is approached from the other direction, the party will see the boarded up alcove and the chain leading from the door to the retaining wall. The logs are not visible. The only way to deactivate the trap from this side is to break the chain. Each character is allowed 1 try at breaking it, and a successful roll of the bend bars percentage means that the chain is broken. Any attempt to break the chain is a 1/3 chance of triggering the trap, 1 in 2d6. Woof. The beefcake. This is the beefcake trap. Let's do it. All right. So, corridor slopes up north. Oh, wait. Is this upward to the east for 50 feet? I'm probably looking at the wrong thing here. Let me look. Yep, this is it. Okay, cool. So it goes east. It ends in a wooden wall. East wall, wooden, with door, carved goblin face. Okay. In the center of this corridor is a covered pit, indistinguishable from the corridor floor. Okay, so center of corridor, covered pit, hidden. Cover the pit will fall open. Falls open for first walker. 20-foot fall into 4 feet water. D4. Is it D4 or D6? D6 damage. Easy. Cushion the fall, fine. Heavy tapping of the floor staff. I guess also tripped with heavy tapping. 10-foot pole. Small ledge around pit. Slow movement only. All right. And the door, leering goblin curved into it. Door's trapped. Trapped on backside with chain. To retaining Board, or yeah, I guess to a board restraining a boarded up alcove at the end of the corridor. I have that boarded up alcove at the end of the. That's this thing here. I see. To a retaining wall, holding back a bunch of logs. I'm not going to overthink this. Okay, so goblin face can be twisted to reveal keyhole. With the right key, I think I've actually got this key is on the guy. Yeah, brass key to 7. Okay, so we, with the right key, 1, disables chain. Easy. Once the door is pulled open, I guess this is if opened, removes retaining wall, logs come crashing. Get decisive actions. Any who do not jump into pit take 18 damage. Half if climber save the spell. Yeah, I think it's anybody who does anything, right? This one is jumpers take 1d4 damage. The only way to deactivate the trap from this side. I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, I'm actually just not going to worry about that. I think I know how to deal with the chain. On the back side there. All right. Room 8, Boggle Lair. I think I've only got like 7 minutes left, so I'm going to try and kind of knock this out pretty quick. So the entire corridor here, wall, ceiling, and floor, is a grill work with 1 foot by 1 foot squares extending for about 60 feet. The stone bars that form the grill work seem to be covered with a black viscous liquid that appears slick. Man, appears. It might be covered. Blech. This area is the lair of 2 boggles. Boggles are vaguely humanoid creatures about 3 feet tall and varying in color, blackish blue to gray. They all have large, oh my god, we're going to describe the boggles again? Where's the body? These are like literally described at the end of the book, and like every time they're mentioned. However, when encountered in their lair, they are aggressive and voracious. Okay, fine. Boggles have rubbery skin, and they secrete a viscous, non-flammable black oil that is extremely slippery. Due to their slipperiness and the resiliency of their hide, all attacks upon boggles will do -1 points of damage per die. Normal damage done. Okay. Boggles like to spread their oil about their lair. For every 10 feet a character travels across this area, for every round spent fighting here, a character must roll his or her dexterity or less on a d20 or fall down. The falling does no damage, but a character who falls may do nothing for 1 round while he or she stands back up. Oh man, so rude. Boggles are resistant to fire as the ring and can naturally spider climb. I know about that. They can do dimension door. Man, boggles are such bullshit. They're so rude. High-pitched keening wail. Great. The 2 boggles will appear from the walls, floors, and ceiling to strike at and trip intruders. So there's only 2 boggles in here, right? Yeah, it's just 2 boggles. Okay, fine. Floor is grid work of 1 foot by 1 foot. Is it iron? Iron bars or something? Covered in boggle oil. going to say 2 boggles aggressively protect their lair. Characters will have to be inventive to get through this area quickly. One possibility is taking pieces of lumber from Section 7 and tobogganing across the grill. This works well due to the oil on the grill bars. That's interesting. That's actually pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah. Covered in bog oil. That's fine. 2 boggles to aggressively protect their lair. We've got all that information. I don't think we need much more here. Yeah, this is fine. No treasure here, right? Actually be a honeycomb. On examination, the grill work would be discovered to actually be a honeycomb of 1 foot by 1 foot by 2 foot deep niches into which the boggles dive and disappear. If anything is thrown at the boggles while they attempt to catch it, or they will attempt to catch it. Interesting. And either throw it back at the party or take it to their nest. The nest is only accessible by dimension door or other magical means. They're semi-intelligent, will try to steal treasure and weapons to keep them from being used or at the boggles and throw back other things such as oil. Each boggle may attempt to steal an item from a person who had fallen. Okay, yeah, so boggle oil is dex check or fall, lose action. All right, let's just go on to room 9 here. Holy smokes. I got 5 watchers. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I'm sorry, I'm literally like... So, set the expectation here. I'm Watcher DM. I'm only watching... Like, I'm only doing this, like, kind of this week. I'm trying to prep for my OSE A2 game. And I'm trying to turn the nightmare that is the A2, like, original module into something I can use at my table. I'm just doing that in Notion. So I'm trying to condense and compress stuff. And I'm doing this like basically an hour a night. And I'm doing it every night until it's done. So I'm trying to do like 10 rooms a night. Is pretty much what my clip has been so far. I'm running a little slow tonight because I had to read I was checking out like the whole dungeon setup here, the dungeon level. But I've already done... I've got like 3 of these videos already, 3 or 4. I've already done like the whole Fort Hill level. So if you want to check out the Hill Fort, like I've already got that done. And you can see some of these little punchy descriptors of things. I think when I'm done too, I'm probably going to roll this out. Like I'm just going to take the Notion page and put it on the internet for free because I would hate to have to try and run this from the book. It sounds really painful to me. So, all right. Here we go. 9. Storerooms. Love me a storeroom. From this hallway, the party can hear screams of pain and moans of agony coming from the west. The doors along this corridor all appear to be locked. These rooms are all locked and contain chests, crates, barrels, bales, casks, and tons of all descriptions. In these containers are all the things that are necessary for the maintenance of the underground stronghold. Unfortunately, none of it is much use to the adventurers. There's a great deal of food, especially honey and cheese, much clothing and goblin-sized armor, collars, lumber, torture apparatus, chains, and so forth. Okay, fine. From this hallway, pretty sure this is the hallway. So these are all the 9s, right? This is where I'm at right here. So these are storerooms. All locked, contain food and other maintenance. What is that? It's not even maintenance. It's like perishables. I'm not even going to meant goblin-sized leather armor, I guess. Can hear screaming from 12. I'm pretty sure it's coming from 12. Yeah. All locked. I guess this is going to be chests, crates, barrels, bales, casks, and tons. Casks. We'll just do that. Especially honey and cheese, making much clothing, goblin size, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nothing interesting. All right, fine. Chests. Let's do the next one. 10, storeroom. This room appears to be, I feel like I should make a drinking game called like appears to be and just read old D&D adventures and take a shot every time I see appears to be or seems to be or so bad. I'm so glad we're past that. This room appears to be a storeroom. Several crates have been pushed aside, and the chest has been overturned to be used as a table with a couple of casks for stools. On the overturned chest are a guttered candle, okay, and a tin candle holder, and a dog-eared deck of cards. On the back wall is a torch bracket with an unlit torch in it. This is our 10 with our secret door, right? This room is used by a couple hobgoblin leaders to play cards. Beneath one of the casks are stuffed 4 face cards of the same suit. Rolled into the shadows of one crate is a silver piece dropped during one game. The torch bracket in the back wall is a trigger to open the secret door in this room. Pulling down on the torch bracket will open the secret door. The secret passage beyond is used to bypass the boggle lair when coming from the fort above. Okay. Great. Overturned crate. 2 casks. Crate is table for cards. Casks are stools. Under 1 cask is cheating hand of cards. Under other is 1 silver piece. Fine. South wall. Empty torch bracket. Pull to reveal secret door. Cool. Also, just says it's used by a couple of hobgoblin leaders. I don't think there are hobgoblin leaders in this room. So I think we're good. And I think that means that we have reached 10 rooms. So let's look at the glory of what we have accomplished. We're going from here in the map all the way up and around to here. So this whole section of the map. And we have turned just the glory. Let's look at the glory. Efficient, effective, terse. These are the words I hope people will put on their lips when they describe my adventures in the future. Secret guard room. Yeah, we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs and turned it into 4 bullet lists with a couple of sub lists. Looks pretty good. This whole nightmare, yeah. Entry hall, punched down pretty quick. Especially with this magnet trap. Woof. 3. We got, actually this one is pretty much the same. I don't think we lost a lot there, but still better. 4, the parlor. We got this down into some pretty usable stuff. 5, storeroom. Love me storerooms in these adventures. They're super small. They're also kind of juiceless. And then abandoned storeroom. This one's got the phantom in it. I think I saved a lot by just saying it gives you clues to the secret door in 10, like, whatever. Because I'm going to be able to, like, figure that out at the table. I don't think it's going to be that hard. Log trap. This one was complicated. Don't love it, but I think it's actually probably one of the coolest traps in the dungeon so far. So this log trap is pretty neat. The boggle lair. Man, we saved us some space on that boggle lair. Mostly because I'm going to take the boggles and slide. They might already have a stat block. I don't think they do though. I need to put their stat block in the database pretty soon. And then we've got our storerooms, and then we've got our 10 storeroom. That's 10 rooms, and we have made a nice little compression. Next time, tomorrow, I'll be back doing another one of these. My plan is to get to room 20. Actually, it might just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 17. Because I got to do these sub pages, and they can kind of be a monster. Oh, I think this is the torture chamber, so it's got like a bunch of shit in it. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, if you want to support Watcher DM, go to watcherdm.com. You can go check out my Patreon, patreon.com/watcherdm. I think I put some links in the thing. I've also got a Kickstarter coming up at the end of July for A Privatized Little Hell. It's a level 16 5e adventure written by Austin Holm. We got some amazing art from Lady Laurelie. And yeah, if you go follow it, I'd be really stoked. We're going to be running it really soon. Oh yeah, and the first 50 people who back it, don't tell anyone. They're going to get some sick, custom made, just a little Watcher DM D20. I don't even know if you guys can see this. I don't even know if I can see it. Where's my OBS? Show BS. Can you see this? It's got the Watcher DM logo on it. It's not going to show it. It's got a little Watcher DM logo on the D20. Of course, that's what it's got. It's not the first die. But I do love it. It's like a sharp edge die, but it's not the kind of shitty ones, like where they're too sharp. It's like really nice. And it's got these beautiful little gold flakes in it, and it's purple, like my original logo, and it comes in a little siggy bag. It's sweet. Anyway, I've got like 200 of them, so I'm going to be giving away like 50 of them to the first 50 backers of the campaign, so I hope one of you is one of them. It'd be really cool. But otherwise, man, I just hope you find this stuff useful. And if you want to keep watching, there's buttons down there. Click them or whatever. I hope you'll come and check us out again. And don't forget to shout in the comments. Tell me about your experience with OSE or A2 or running old school stuff. I'd love to talk about it. But now I've got to go. Thanks for playing.